Technology Showcase, Bertrand Duplat, co-founder Robeaute.
Hello everyone, it's a great honor for me and a great pleasure to present Robeaute and to present to you today. About 15 years ago, my mother got diagnosed with glioblastoma, the worst brain cancer. And in her case, there was no way to intervene in the brain. And this is when and where firsthand I understood the need to get into the brain and to be able to treat patients better. In 1966, Richard Fleischer came out with this movie, The Fantastic Voyage. It's a classical Hollywood movie. And it showed us this dream of being able to actually intervene in the brain and save a patient. But of course, this was science fiction. Asimov wrote the book, and it looked like a really faraway dream. So what are the ways that physicians have to intervene in the brain, on the pathological brain? The first one is drugs, the systemic approach. So basically, you flood the whole body, all the organs, the immune system with potentially very, very strong drugs, and only a fraction of it reaches the brain because it's very well protected with the famous blood-brain barrier. Then you have the vascular approach, where you basically you get to the brain through the vascular system, but you're on the wrong side, you're on the other side of the blood-brain barrier. So if you want to reach the brain and the vascular system for a vascular event, it's very useful, but if you need to get to the neurons themselves and the brain cells, unfortunately, you're on the other side. So what happens with neurosurgery? Well, neurosurgery, you have to open the brain. And as of today, the only way to intervene for the neurosurgeons is in a straight line. So whether you use a neurosurgical needle, a catheter, an electrode, you have to insert it in a straight line. So that means that you cannot follow the natural circumvolution and curves of the brain, including the very important wide tract matters. That means that you cannot go easily to multiple locations. That means that you have to reach your target in the angle in which you insert the tool. That also means that you cannot explore. You have to know exactly where you're going, and you cannot change your target location much. Actually, you can change it only in a straight line. So to us, it's a very, very limiting factor, this access issue and the data issue that comes from it in the brain. And so we came out with a smart delivery system, a micro-robot to reach the brain. So this is our vessel. It's less than 2 millimeters wide. It's very small. It's made of multiple layers. We've packed into this tiny micro-robot the propulsion to move into the extracellular matrix of the brain parenchyma. So where the neurons are, we pack the steering to be able to turn in every direction. We packed also the micro-engine to move the micro-robot, and also the real-time tracking to know in real time where the micro-robot is with submillimetric precisions. And then we can add extensions depending on the task at hand, depending on the mission. Extensions are sensors, drug delivery systems, device delivery systems. And we'll use it for diagnostic, for treating the patients, and for monitoring the patients. So here is a view of the microrobot moving in a hydrogel, which has the same mechanical properties as the brain, the same rheology. And this is first we're seeing from 2 points of view a 2D curve in the brain. And you have to remember that today this is completely impossible to move besides a straight line. So here the turn is starting. So this is following a 2D curve. And now the next one is following a full 3D curve. It's a helix. And imagine that you can gather material for biopsy, for instance, around a tumor this way, or you can deliver at multiple spots a drug, a therapy around an important nucleus. So this is really a breakthrough towards what exists today. And the micro-robot that we're working on is today also a reality. We've tested it successfully in numerous cadavers, animal models and humans. And we've been testing it this summer at the end of July also with neurosurgeons from Pitié-Salpêtrière in Paris in live animal. So that's very important step, of course, for us. And really, what's behind it is this vision that we had before we even started that comes from Miyazaki, from The Castle in the Sky. And you have this blooming nature on a highland in the sky. And it's blooming because there is a full-time gardening robot that is taking care of the nature. It's really a good metaphor for what we want to do in the brain. We want to be able to weed the neurons that are pathological. We want to be able to support the neurons and the cells and help them thrive in the recovering brain. So how does this vision translate concretely in one of the first target, which is drug delivery, and specifically for tumoral and for cancer, and that also will translate to neurodegenerative disease. So we're really focusing on the trio, triptych, with diagnostic, which means mapping what's going on in the pathological brain, mapping the tumor, getting samples, molecular samples, single-cell samples in order to understand exactly what's going on. Use that information, use that data to choose the treatment or to design the treatment for the patient, go back to deliver the treatment, potentially in multiple points to really cover the zone or cover well the tumor that is pathological, and stay there in order to monitor the patient brains and to monitor its progress, and potentially to create a feedback loop on the treatment in order to change the dose or even change the treatment if it doesn't work well. And this is a very important step that doesn't really exist today and very much needed by the neurosurgeons and the neuro-oncologists. So that's where we are. We are a team of 15 people in Paris, based in Paris. We have an amazing community of medical doctors and also scientists who are hands-on and helping us since the very beginning, a great community also of investors, and we have a strategy in terms of regulatory and in terms of business, of course, to expand to more indication, and it is a platform with a huge potential for the 1 billion people who are affected by brain disease and neurological disorder. And just to finish on a final note, I introduce you to our micro-robot. It's here in my hand, and I'll be happy to show it to you actually after. Thank you very much.